Kuihman, in case you didn't know, is someone in commentary. Or is it Twitch poll? I'm not sure on that one. Let's try that again. Kuihman is a YouTuber, I guess. He does the stream, react, other stuff, and someone, maybe himself, cuts it out as VODs. Don't know. Now let's first address the Grifter claim that is in the title. Kuihman would probably try to argue against that, but that's just because he tends to argue on instinct, like when people make claims that he's a Loli defender.
Intentionally an attempt to sexually draw children.
Yep.
And that's bad. But Kuihman alone dares to ask, why would you care if people thought you were a pedophile? It's no biggie.
That's not what I said. I said pedo defender.
But it seems he managed to completely dodge that bullet with card posting, at least. Truly a brilliant example of how he turned it around on someone instead of actually, talking about his weird stance on Loli. That led to this discussion between the two. But back to the Grifter claim, that much is obvious whenever he gets backed into a corner of why he's doing what he does on the internet. It's all about money.
Irrelevant, anything like that?
There was one slip up in the video that I definitely noticed, but I won't say it on stream just for everyone's sake, but there is definitely one slip up. I don't have anything else. If you've got evidence of something, sure, I'd love to see it.
Okay, so you can identify one thing that I did wrong 2 years ago, and I think you would agree, reading the STV Philly logs, I made a completely good faith effort to try and resolve it, and there are people who are lying and fucking with me, okay? Why is it that you were so focused on me?
Well, because that's the interesting drama.
Okay, so you're just drama farming. You just don't give a shit.
That's what I stream about, drama, bro.
Or maybe content. I'm not sure. It's totally not about the normalization of Loli or whatever crap he talked about with card posting here.
And it felt like you were sort of pulling your punches.
Well, no, I'd seen the clips in advance. I did skim through the video before I started my stream.
Well, yeah, it still seemed like you were like...
I'm being real with you. I was thrown off because I watched your videos and I was like, but this doesn't seem like card posting. First of all, it doesn't seem like card posting. Second of all, I like this guy. I'm sort of upset this guy's saying, like, he thinks I might be a pedophile.
My mistake. He doesn't do that with card posting. Kuihman slips that argument into his response to the card posting video. Just real quickly, it seems. Which I'm guessing card posting watched at some point. But it's really strange how it wasn't brought up at all within that discussion between the two. Well, not really.
You're about to see Kuihman reacting to Xanderhall here. And say what you want about Xanderhall, that he's a big lib, bad with money, dumb, stoner, filming in a church basement, maybe wants to kill his editors, looks like he has AIDS. Yeah, we've heard it all. But he's actually going to make a very cogent point here about how the Nuxtaku Loli fixation was being played off as a joke right up until it wasn't, and that someone calling him out should have come a lot sooner. Kuihman here has now inexplicably turned his face cam on to give his hot take that jokingly being a pedophile is actually just like a harmless goof among pals and really funny.
Maybe in 2014.
Sometimes joking about being a pedophile is funny. Yep. I will say that with cam on. Not tonight. I can't remember what's going on cam tonight. But I have and would say that with cam on. Sometimes joking about being a pedophile is funny. Pretty much everyone's done. I think even, fucking Chuds has made like pedophile jokes. It is funny. It can be funny. Is it always funny? No. Obviously, it's not always funny. Sometimes it blurs a line. If it's too normalized in certain communities, it can make it difficult to notice red flags for actual negative behaviors. Totally agree with all those points. However, yeah, fundamentally, there are plenty of jokes about being a pedophile that are funny.
But it's completely fine with people calling anyone pedos as a joke when there's absolutely no evidence to back it up.
Yeah, it's like retarded, and why would you take it seriously? It's like a joke. It's like a joke that he's making in Discord to fuck with someone. It's like a joke in Discord to fuck with someone. I couldn't tell you how people I've called rapists and pedophiles in Discord chats. It's countless. I had no evidence for any of it. Obviously, you would have to be retarded to believe it.
I don't think ZV ever raped his sister. He's probably an only child. I don't give a shit. I just thought the claim that was made by a fucking autistic schizo, no Miss Yalf, was really funny.
Okay, well then,
Like it's just like so obvious it's not serious. Like you can literally watch the hit piece. Literally watch the hit piece. It's so obvious he's not being serious.
It's almost as if ridicule is man's most potent weapon. There's no defense. It's almost impossible to counterattack ridicule. Also, infuriates the opposition, who then reacts to your advantage, at least ideally. So why is Kuihman reluctant to use it against Nux? Well, probably not because he's seems to be a Mr. Girl fan, infamous for his review of Cuties and his Eminem parody song, I'm a pedophile. Also, it can't be Kuihman is promoting such behaviors to encourage those in his circle to keep on doing this. Still, it looks sort of bad when you hide certain streams like this. Damn it, this really doesn't help the claim that Kuihman's a grifter. Hey, look at this sudden change in attitude from Kuihman here.
Yeah, he's a I just want a game centrist.
Again, I've openly talked on multiple platforms that I don't like Endymion, so I'm going to say it right here now. Full support of at least these statements. Like this is an Endymion dub, 100%. Whether I disagree or agree with Endymion or not doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is, I don't think Endymion is a in fact, I think that Endymion is the opposite, and I think that he leans too hard into not accepting relevantism.
What this is projection then from yours.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
As soon as a game gets popular,
Wow.
you guys are too afraid.
These guys might have 100 IQ collectively.
About the wokeness because you're not conservatives. You still, Yorch, you still have not told anyone what's woke about this. What is woke?
Well,
because
he also builds
people in it?
conservatism up as if conservatism is a bastion of purity. Well, guess what? Look, I don't want to upset anybody in the audience and whatnot, but I'll say it. I won't speak for Smash. It's just me. I'm not a conservative. I'm also not a liberal. I'm an anarchist. But I do remember.
Wait, he's an anarchist? What?
Because I'm old enough to remember, and it was around during those times. I remember 9/11. I remember the Bush regime. I remember the illegal wars under conservatism. I remember the weapons of mass destruction hoax and Dick Cheney running the government. Let's not pretend that conservatism is inherently moral or correct. There's corrupt no matter what side of the aisle you go to, and touting on about conservatism as if it's the objectively correct way is absolutely bananas.
No, this guy's awesome, actually. No, I'm on this guy's team.
Conservatism on.
Okay, time to drop this grifter bit. I'm like 90% sure Leon is a small-time grifter, and Kuihman saying he's awesome and how he's on this guy's team is more funny than proof of anything. In the end of the day, proving someone is a grifter is pointless. I mean, it would make some sense of some of the stupidity that Kuihman does, but let's get more into the hidden title of this video. Hiding his true power level as an Ultra Instinct Sperg.
That doesn't mean that the fucking money for the Hassan video is now in some sort of a contract to the media company that was never involved in any of this shit. It just means I'm going to keep doing. It just means I'm going to keep doing work for you, which, by the way, confirms. Shut the fuck up, Kuihman. That confirms the work for January was done with satisfaction.
I don't, but legally, but ethically, to me, that does mean that you're on the hook to the company. If you've attributed that to the company, that does mean
I don't give a fuck about your morals. You are a piece of shit.
It reminded me of an argument Dark Viper AU made against Judd Logic.
A lot, but it includes the entire video.
Of course, I don't really care that it's illegal. I care more that it is grossly immoral for reasons I have also explained to death.
Now, would people take the legal aspect out of the equation and make it just about the morals or ethics? Seriously, what morals or ethics are they using? I had a small section of my previous script where I was guessing at what Kuihman's ethical system might have been. My top 3 guesses for what Kuihman's possible ethical system would be ethical nihilism, hedonism, and or egotism. They fit with the grifter bit that I was originally going with, but after some feedback, I decided to be more direct. And I'm leaving the title as is. He could still be a grifter of some type, maybe a political kind. Is a grifter still a grifter, even if they suck at it? Not that I care to prove he's one, but I notice with a lot of those who get called grifters, they at least have 1 or 2 people around them to White Knight Forum who aren't exactly on their team, or at least will pretend they're not. Now, I know most people know Kuihman is a political person, but, with his commentary hat on, somehow this pass for legit criticism and commentary nowadays.
No, this is the pattern of behavior.
So Willie said instead of apologizing, saying Hassan didn't apologize, and Hassan saying, well, no, I did apologize. You're saying I didn't apologize?
You said you post, dude. This is exactly my criticism.
Because let's say this goes a different way. Imagine a parallel universe where Hassan just didn't immediately clock that Willie said he didn't apologize, or Hassan didn't remember quite the timeline whether he apologized or something. This whole debate goes through with Willie saying Hassan didn't apologize, and then that's just accepted. So the idea that we just, Hassan's got to do the research and make sure that Willie's criticisms are true, this is like retarded. No, Willie is just he's like embellished his criticism here to try and get an own on Hassan in this debate. I know he's not taking the L when he's realized it's completely wrong.
I mean, just because this is Kuihman being more against Willie Mack rather than him being pro Hassan, maybe he wants people to argue, oh, you're arguing for Hassan. No, I'm arguing against Willie Mack's stupidity, which is stupid on its own. And I'm sure you'll get this. That's just his stream. Nothing he turned into a VOD. Yeah, it gives him the ability to put this stream in the unlisted sort of section he has on his channel. And possibly it might even disappear one day. But it definitely emphasizes the fact that if you control the framing of the debate, you can control the narrative. That is, if people listening to you buy into this crap. I have to wonder if that's what the 12 rules for radicals meant by saying the price of a successful attack is a constructed alternative. Hell, there's many other of these rules that could apply to what Kuihman does. I already mentioned Rule 5 earlier. Ridicule is man's most potent weapon. Did anyone pick up on that? Now, a good tactic is one that your people enjoy, is one I'm sure many streamers looking to make their chat happy and get new followers could fall into without even knowing the rules themselves. Rule 3, I'm not sure. Whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. Yeah, this is something I've seen from Kuihman a couple of times at the very least. And the way he sort of reviews this stuff makes me question if any of his views on anything is based in reality. Like, what are you responding to here? You're doing your best to discredit him in this gay little fashion here.
Is this what you're going to do? You're going to talk?
And it makes total sense for anyone crying that Hassan didn't watch this video. It makes total sense to not want to watch this video. It is the exact same talking points that have been made by other people against Hassan.
Why? What is even going through your head, Kuihman? Cares if you wouldn't watch a Willie Mack video? Is this what your audience watches you for? To act like a total ass clown? To go against Willie Mack, contrarian straight out of the box? Or has this been what you've been reduced to? Or it could be Rule 8. Keep the pressure on and never let up, no matter how stupid it comes across. Or maybe it's Rule 10. If you push the negative hard enough, it'll push through and become positive. Him always being on the attack means he rarely has to go on defense, and does rather poorly, so he finds ways around that. So it could be that instead of him using any of these rules, but if there's something like a gay op where Kuihman has some involvement in it, gets criticism, he gets a slap on the wrist, and the world keeps moving on despite all his failures. Why is that? Probably Rule 4. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. They tried doing that to Destiny. Same with Mudahar, or however you say one ordinary gamer's real name. And of course, they tried to do that with other commentary channels, but that didn't even really work. Mainly because they seem to have misjudged what the rule book for those individuals on those commentary channels are. Or did they? What if they were the ones who wrote the rule book on how commentary works? Now, there's just one problem with this. The rules that they're trying to get people to accept as how things operate in the commentary community is one that already existed before. It's called Sperg content. So how did this change occur? That's a serious question. I don't expect a serious response from anyone. I have my theories, but this isn't the place for that. The point is that the people who had supposedly their own rulebook used against them, Destiny and Mudahar, seems to have walked away, ended up mostly fine at this point in time. Let's see how that lawsuit goes. Don't care if he gets sued into oblivion, but I won't whine if he wins either. And as for the commentary channels, they tried to rope Nick into their plans to nail Destiny. Nick's shown in the past he's willing to talk to people who might try to fuck him over, because that's what he's done in the past. From experience, John Swan and a couple of others. President Sunday underestimated him, and he lost because Nick recorded that conversation and released what Sunday left out of his video. Then comes along Willie Mack with his first Destiny video that includes Beckett and President Sunday in the supporting roles, because he really believes that they screwed up a lot of the discourse around here. That's an opinion. Seems to have some merit to me, but different people will have different opinions. It was really during the huge debate panel where it happens, Kuihman gets Willie Mack to come in to interrogate his position on some of this crap here.
And say, hey, did you extort this person? And then you have DMs that lead you to the conclusion that they extorted.
You should, which is
let me lay this out. Let me lay this out for you 1 second.
All right, lay it out.
You believe that someone is extorting someone else. Person A is extorting person B. And you have DMs to evidence this that have led you to this conclusion. You reach out to person A and you say, hey, are you extorting person B? And they say, oh, no, I'm not extorting person B. That's not my intention at all. But you don't provide any more evidence.
Dude, the evidence Sunday had was a single tweet that said she was taking the LSAT.
I'm not making a statement on what the evidence Sunday had was. I'm simply interrogating your standing. Yeah, I'm interrogating your standing because you're staking positions. I'm interrogating what the position actually is.
If you want to know what underpins Willie's Max worldview, why don't you just ask him directly? Frankly, I don't think he would even tell you. Definitely seems like he's looking at it from a true utilitarian perspective. What is the optimum way we can be completely honest while respecting everyone's opinion, while having the best outcome? Could be wrong on that. I'm not a mind reader. I can only say it sort of parallels my own value system. And that seems to be true based on the evidence that President Sunday sort of revealed he had. And Kuihman admits he's not interested in the subject matter at hand, but the ideas behind it. Underlying motives that he should just ask directly about instead of hint at. Probably because Kuihman can't argue against the actual evidence here.
That's the same thing.
Really,
it's all connected, Kuihman.
The attempt to extort can be true.
You just keep talking? Is this the fucking...
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
You aren't engaging in anything.
I am engaging. The attempt to extort can be true, but the paid off part could be false. So like, I'm going one claim at a time. So attempt to extort off the table. Now we're talking about the paid off part. So I agree with you.
Where's the attempt to extort?
Well, that's what Sunday's believing. That's part of the narrative. That's part of the slandering that's being accused, right? Is that Sunday believed the Pixie was attempting to extort.
Yeah, the attempt to extort is him saying, here are DMs. I believe it is extortion because I talked to a lawyer, which he completely lied about. That is not true. He did not talk to any lawyer. Okay.
I don't think it matters whether he spoke to a lawyer or not. Some unnamed lawyer's comment is
matters because if you're accusing someone of extortion, you should probably know what the fuck you're talking about and getting a professional opinion.
Kuihman doesn't seem to care much about speculating behind the ideas behind Sunday's reasoning for making the video. He basically just goes along with Sunday's narrative as if it's true, despite Sunday telling a lie, probably a couple of ones, but one about the lawyer I think is the most clear cut there. But that context, or should I say element of the story, doesn't matter to Kuihman.
Pixie killing herself, right? He goes, I don't want Pixie to kill herself. I can't do that. That would be psychotic. I would be a psycho if I came out with this video.
Yes.
And then he goes, well, she's extorting Destiny, so now it's game, and I'm totally okay to come out with this video. So it's the entire justification. So yes, it does matter.
Wait, what are you saying matters now? Whether the extortion claim is true, I agree with you. That part matters. I don't think it matters whether he actually spoke to a lawyer or not, because the comment from a lawyer doesn't matter. That's all I was saying.
Sunday lying about why he thinks is extortion matters because it's the whole reason he came out with the video.
But he has a line of logic for why he thinks extortion that doesn't rely
His line of
on...
logic is him lying,
exactly.
bro.
So,
you realize that, right?
No, the line of...
Seriously, if Sunday lied about speaking to a lawyer, what makes you think he won't be willing to lie about other things?
Trying to be nice. But once Bad Empanada starts talking about it, once Hassan starts saying Low in the Box got cucked and all this stuff, well, it's kind of an untenable position at that point. Like, and that's before...
Why is it untenable?
To keep moderating Pixie's name and pretending nothing's happening. Because everyone's talking about it. It's like a huge story where there's like not just the story is being ran, but there's actual misinformation about the story being ran by huge YouTubers. You're just supposed to sit there, cover it, and bite your tongue.
All these guys did was spread more misinformation. That's all Beckett and Sunday did.
Oh, I agree. The speculation. Beckett, okay, well, Beckett's going to contest that. I agree. Sunday's video, absolutely, like it's not good. Like, I mean, it's not a good video on Destiny.
Okay, then why are you sweeping for it?
I'm not sweeping for it. I'm just contesting your point. I think there's low levels of engagement happening with.
Kuihman definitely seems like he's trying to sweep for President Sunday here. Not very well, but he's definitely trying to find a critical theory problem with Willie Mack's video or process or underlying belief. I'm not even sure which it is. It definitely seems to be along the lines of keep the pressure on, never let up. Still, it makes me think about Rule 7, a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. But in relations to Rule 12, when you pick the target, personalize it, and polarize it, how do you change up tactics doing that to make sure they don't drag on too long? Maybe by doing what Kuihman did with the video, Nicholas Diorio's brutal debate with best friend. Have to hype up those cap letters. It really should have been titled, Nick Diorio is sweeping for Willie to his best friend. That was capitalized there. And I think the beginning of Kuihman's own video, the best way to highlight the insanity of this.
I will tell you what's happened. I don't have evidence of this. I am clairvoyantly tapping into the schizosphere, and I'm telling you exactly what happened. Here's how Willie made his video.
I think you're just setting a really bad precedent if you're saying like a video essayist has to post by a certain date. Otherwise,
what? No one's saying that.
If their video has to be even deeper than like.
This is a bad communication of the content, and if you haven't seen everything else, you will come away with an incomplete at best, I'll say, impression of what happened. No one's saying you shouldn't include the President Sunday section. Who is saying there should be nothing about President Sunday in there?
I mean, on one hand, he's trying to make it out like he's completely insane schizo Sperg out of his mind. On the other, he's trying to set himself up as an expert on this by trying to say he's done the most research and has so many points to try to prove this. This reminds me what Kuihman did with Willie is textbook Gishgalpin. I'll give you a second if you need to pause and look at the screen for the definition, which is up now. What I highlighted earlier with Willie Mack is an example of someone countering this tactic. He focuses on the falsehoods told by President Sunday that Kuihman definitely seemed like he was trying to sweep for, but maybe he wasn't. There's a lot more I can say on this, and I have a stream set up to follow up in case I need to, but it's not like this is the first time Kuihman has done this in relations to sweeping. I'm putting quotation marks around that because it's a very indirect method, but still running cover for the stupidity of President Sunday, especially when it's somewhat related to Willie Mack in a strange way. Hell, I went over that whole thing on stream a while ago, and I still have no clue how Kuihman can think his title fits. You trying to get the evidence seems to be on Doomer's side here. And Kuihman's even agreeing, trying to get him into some sort of loop to, I suppose a little bit more. I don't fucking know. DoomerMedia breaks in final confrontation. I've heard of clickbait, but that is way more misleading than my title here, which at least frames it as a question and is rather irrelevant because even if true, frankly, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter if someone's a grifter or not, no matter if their intent isn't pure. When someone's right, they're right, no matter their motivations. Figuring out people's intent is stupid. And with that, I'm done. At least until my follow-up stream to this video where I'll probably go into more details where I need to.